So the key thing to know about today is that there aren't going to be any votes. So this is not going to be a moment where we see the House dividing and you're seeing who's backing what. Today is all about the kind of options that people will put forward. You'll see the government put forward what's considered to be Plan B, how it's going to try and bring together the House, but you'll also see other MPs, and we've seen a lot over the weekend about these plans which are about sort of trying to change the rules to give them an advantage in getting their proposals over the line.
And how does that work? How do you change the rules inside Parliament to give MPs rather than the government control of this process?
So one of the things that we are, I think, those that have an affinity for or a desire to see a strong executive are realising the flaws is that most of the rules that govern how the Commons works are in standing orders. These are something that can be changed if you can get a motion onto the floor of the House and then you can get a majority for it, then you can change the rules. So what these rebel MPs have found is that the Speaker, who sort of is in charge of those rules, is quite willing now to allow those kind of motions to come forward, and that's how you do it. You basically, for example, take away the government's power to control what happens in the House.
Obviously, members of the government not thrilled at this prospect, but from an outside perspective, it seems like their vote last week was so significantly negative on the plan that Theresa May had put forward. Is it not the chance now for Parliament to try and assert its own voice?
I think there's a difference here. Well, if you go back to first principles, the first thing is that the government proposes and Parliament disposes. So it is not that the traditional balance has been that it's not about Parliament proposing policy, it's about the government doing so and then the legislature scrutinising that. So that's the first aspect. The second aspect is that the Commons isn't set up to do that. What we see in terms of some of the proposals coming forward is they still don't know. Those that want to prevent Brexit or to soften it or to delay it, they themselves don't know what they want to do instead. So that's why you get their focus on procedural things, because that's where they can maybe have a little bit of a win until they work out what they want to do.
I want to ask you one other question about indicative votes. We hear that phrase quite a lot at the moment. Just for people watching, certainly from outside the UK, how would that work inside the House of Commons?
So nobody's being very clear, but the assumption is when people say indicative, what they mean is we want to vote on each option as a standalone motion. So if we have all these different acronyms, not acronyms, phrases, Norway Plus or Common Market 2.0, although I think the two things come together, second referendum, all those things. And the reason for that is that you'd have to have them as separate little debates and motions to be voted on, because the traditional way of voting on things is that if one of them was to pass, then the others would be knocked out. So again, it's a little bit of procedure, but essentially they're saying, can we look at everything?
Do you think it's possible, just one last question for you, do you think it's possible that the House of Commons, the lower chamber inside the British Parliament, could essentially take control of this process, take control of the timetable, and it would slip from Number 10's grasp?
I think with this particular speaker and some of the manoeuvres being made, then it is possible, and that will have very long-term ramifications, not only for Brexit, but for the way the government and legislature function.
Hi, I'm Joanna Bersecci, and thank you for watching. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thank you for watching.